Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video I want to do a basic tutorial of Final Fantasy Grandmasters. Now, I am very far ahead of where the YouTube series is now, and I have at least 15 to 20 parts recorded and ready to render for your entertainment. But a lot of people have been noticing I'm pretty clueless in those earlier parts because of the Japanese text. Luckily, some great members of the community, whether that be Fusion over at Gamerscape, who even showed me how to install this in the first place, his video has been in the description of every Grandmasters video I've done so far, or Fox Sir, translating some of the menus for me on the Dream Network forums, as well as people just generally telling me what certain things mean in the comment sections of my previous videos. I wanted to compile that and make a beginner's guide for Grandmasters, mostly for the people who don't speak Japanese but still want to play the game, just having trouble navigating and figuring out what's effective and what's not. Now, unfortunately, some things, of course, are going to be missing. For example, I can't really tell you, because I don't know them, all of the different effects that are on each of the different armor pieces, what the different icons mean. Though usually, if you pay attention to what the icons are versus what the icons are for your character stats, you can usually get a rough idea of what they mean. So anyway, let's start on this menu right here. We're going to go from top left to bottom right. Top left, rank, basically a way of indicating how far you've made it in the main story. It does have some power implications on your character. For example, it increases your TP count, which we'll talk about in a little bit, as well as increasing the amount of side items you can equip. Again, we'll talk about that in a bit. You have your character name, you have your guild, and then you have your crystals in the top right, which are basically this game's version of currency for a bunch of different features. You earn them through quests in the game, through daily events, through seasonal events, but you can also buy them with real money. That is really the one implication of mobile games, of course, is that they need to make money somehow if they're free to play like this one is. Now, let's go directly under that. You can see right here, we have bonuses. Now, these bonuses, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. Now, 1.5 times the amount of gil. This message on the right means it's active. Then you have 1.5 times the amount of experience gained. You have 1.5 times the amount of drop rate on regular chests and 1.5 times the drop rate on rare chests. Now, this last one that I don't have unlocked, this is actually the first day I've seen it. What it looks like it says is that this will double the rate at which Notorious Monsters spawns, but at the cost of 5,000 crystals. So I originally thought there weren't too many paying implications. It was mostly just relic draws. As this game gets farther and farther from its initial launch, we will probably see the other four features here, the gil experience and drop rate bonuses, be combined with the need to actually pay money or to just occasionally unlock it through quests or whatnot. If you're playing this really early, you're going to reap the benefits very early as well. Now, moving down, we have this menu right here. Basically just allows you to purchase crystals. So you have this right here, which will allow you to purchase crystals at these prices. So if you're someone who is interested in that, here you go. You can get 9,800 for 8,147 yen. And then let's see, we go back. This allows you to increase your inventory by 5. You start with a base of 500 inventory, and it costs, I believe, 100 crystals. Yes, it does, per expansion. So I haven't really had any issues with inventory yet. 500 is a very generous amount to give. I suspect that as more jobs, but there's only like, I believe, 6 in the game right now, as more jobs are added, that this will become a little bit more needed in order to keep up your inventory with all the different scenarios you'll probably want to be gearing your character towards. This third one down here allows you to change the appearance of your character. Now, the first change in appearance is free, but the rest will cost the crystals. So basically, this entire menu is just a way of the game saying, hey, you know, we need to make money too. These are the options you have with the money. Luckily, unlike Record Keeper, there's no stamina system, so you don't have to worry about paying to actually play the game. If you want to grind it out with all of the other options, you're more than welcome to do so. This last option right here at the bottom seems to just be a character backup. Whenever I press it, it just says that. I say okay, and nothing happens. So I'm assuming it's just a character backup. Now, as we go back out to the menu, we have the next option down, which is the daily login. Well, it's mail, basically. I say daily login bonuses. This is usually where you'll collect them. Any items that have to do with seasonal events, login bonuses, any reason why they may have given you extra crystals due to maintenance, any special rewards they may have given out, you will receive them in this menu. It'll always let you know with a little red circle and a number next to it how many of these you need to accept. Right under that, we have announcements, which is their way of announcing special events. For example, this event right here, which I can't read, but I assume it has something to do with the bonus I have at the top due to the color scheme. You have maintenance notices, you have event notices, such as this one, new relic draw. They are categorized in such a way, but I unfortunately cannot read what the categories are. And then you have social options. Now, social options, as you can see, just takes you away. This will take you directly to the forums. Unfortunately, that's going to mess up the recording a little bit, but if you ever wanted to check that out, it's right there. Every time I click it, since I'm on BlueStacks, it takes me away. If you were actually on a phone, it should open up another tab and take you to the forums, where you can gather information about people who are trying to form parties, trying to grind for loot, things like that. If you want it to be a more social experience for you, the game does facilitate that. Moving down to the next two options, we have the ship, which I'll click on in a little bit, and then we have current events, which you can just scroll through, or you're supposed to be able to scroll through, but it's not actually letting me do it right now. Oh, well, it let me click the event, but it didn't let me scroll through them. Basically, it lets you know what the relic draw bonuses are, any sort of seasonal event, and any sort of boss event that is going on right now, with this one, of course, being the dragon event. Now, we look at the bottom menu. On the far left, we have the home button, which will just take you to this menu. We have the shop. Now, in the shop, we have a few different options. Now, on the far left, we have the equipment list, just a list of stuff that you have. You can scroll through it however you want. You can also click on an item, get the stats, find out how much you've upgraded it, what its power rating is, which we'll talk about in a bit, the bonuses that it gives, the defenses against certain elements, the HP values, magic defense, ATB, speed increase, all this stuff. Again, remember these icons right here. Because these icons, by the way, sorry, my mouse cursor was off because of BlueStacks repositioning on the screen. These little icons right here are going to be mostly synonymous with the icons you'll see on this menu. So, for example, you can see this is an HP increase item. Just line that up with this in case you can figure it out. So just when you're gearing up, look at these icons, figure out exactly what it is you want to go. Do you want more power? Do you want more physical defense, magic defense, special attack, accuracy, the ability to dodge, ATB speed? All that stuff is here. If you can read Japanese, it also says directly on the item, the Japanese text directly under the item will tell you exactly what it does as well. Now, if you want to see different information, for example, if you want to see no information or you just want to see what level the item is, you have that option right here. And then the option to the right is a sorting list. I can't read any of this. The sorting list I have right on now seems to mostly keep my highest level gear at the top. I don't know if that's actually what it's doing, but if you can figure out what all of this sorting means, I'm going to check my list to see if anybody actually translated that for me, because it's a lot of stuff to translate. I'll come back to that in a little bit. I have a bunch of translations here on the right that I'm looking at as reference. Unfortunately, I do not see that, so if you just want to mess around with the sorting until you find something that works for you, you're more than welcome. Of course, I have 93 out of 505. I accidentally bought five inventory slots for one of my quest items, so, oh well, nothing too bad. Then we have the upgrade list, which is right here. This basically allows you to use synergy to upgrade your items. So all you do, you click on the item, you click on it again, or you click the confirmation button here at the bottom, and then you can use up to 10 items to try and enhance the level. Now, looking back on this menu, you can see how much EXP you are towards the next level. I'm 1,650. Going to the actual upgrade menu, you can, as you can see, 0 out of 10 items that I can actually use for the upgrade. How much gil it's going to cost me. Now, gil prices increase the higher the level of the item. So when you're trying to get towards max level, to expect this to cost more and more. You have how much experience points you're going to gain in the bottom left, and then if it's actually increased in level in the bottom right. So as you can see, we can equip, you're just going to throw a bunch of C ranks in here because it's a level 18 S rank item, which again, we'll talk about item ranking in a little bit. I have 1,650 experience gain. It's going to cost me 24,000 gil, and that will adequately upgrade me to level 19. I will then be 2,850 away from level 20. We do the synergy, pops it in there. You get the process, lets you know that it leveled up, and the completed item comes out. Now it also gives you a rundown of the stats that increased, and also, if you're lucky, sometimes you'll get what is known as perfect synergy, which will give you bonus experience points when you do this. I use my C rank items and my B rank items on this mostly, while reserving A rank and S rank items for actual combat or having a variety of different abilities to have equipped. So now we can back out. Now, either you can continue and do more synergy, or you can back out. The menu, other than that, is mostly the same as the old one. Moving on to the next one, we have break limit, which allows you to raise the item's maximum level. Now, as you can see, if an item is grayed out, it means you don't currently have the items needed to upgrade it. If it is not grayed out, that means you do have the items. Now, basically, when you click an item, it'll tell you what you need in order to upgrade it. For example, I need 25 tier 1 materia, C rank materia. I need 6 B rank materia, 3 A rank materia, and 1 S rank materia. These all appear to be fire materia, and it will increase the max level of my item to 60. It also has a guild cost of 196,500. Now, materia, we'll talk about a little bit later in a more advanced guide, how to farm it, where to get it, but you'll figure it out pretty quick as you're playing the game. It's very easy to upgrade C and B rank items, but for S rank items, you are going to need those S and A rank materia, so that's where things get a little bit more difficult. Now, and then the final one on the right is just sell equipment. You can just click items, sell them, like say like 300 for C ranks. I think a B rank is 1,000. Yeah, and then the prices go up. So if you ever need to make gil, you have this. Honestly, you make so much gil actually playing the game that maybe I'll find a use for this later, but currently with the amount of gil that drops, especially with the bonuses that are active, I don't really see a point. Now, in the top right, this actually shows you what materia you have, as I was talking about before, the materia. So if you're ever curious what materia you have for the upgrades, you can actually see I have an A rank, I think that's a lightning materia. I have a few A ranks. Nice. I'm going to need way more of those, though. Okay, so that menu is done. So back to the menus at the bottom of the screen. So now we have the third one, which is your character menu. Now, this is the menu you'll probably spend the most time in if I had to guess. Sorry for the edit. I had a phone call, but we are back anyway. So this is the character menu right here. There's a lot of different things you can do on it, although when you first join the game, the options on the far left and far right will likely be locked. We'll still cover all the information. At the top, you can see what your current main job is, your current sub job is, and your character's current attack power, or as I call it, power rating. You can also get a total description of their stats, what resistances they have, and then right back to the regular menu. So here in the top left, we have the vanity slots, or glamour, whatever you want to call it. You're basically able to equip armor over your character to make them look different than they actually perform. So as you can see, I have that headpiece. I can maybe show this body piece instead of the one I have equipped. But this doesn't affect your stats in any way. This is literally just a way of making your character appear in a way that appeals to you. Then, in the top right, this option, this allows you to do gear sets. So if you ever want to quickly swap the gear and job combinations that you are running with, then you could just click one, and you have 3 options. It'll let you know exactly what you have equipped, what vanity you have equipped, what side items you have equipped, which again, we'll talk about in a little bit, the power, the main job, and the sub job. So we have 3 options here at the bottom. The one on the left allows you to actually equip the gear set, which I will do right now for my monk. The middle one allows you to delete the gear set, this one right here. And this one on the right allows you to update the gear set, which you would just do if you had gotten new gear and wanted to change it out. Of course, the menu at the bottom is the ability to close it. Now, I have 5 slots here. I don't know if they have any interest in extending this. There are currently 6 jobs in the game, so having 6 job sets would probably be a little bit more convenient. Curious to see if they'll extend this list at any point. So then we go actually back to the things that have to do with your character, your stats and whatnot. So on the far left, you have the sub job option. This will likely be locked, but I will explain how to unlock it in this video. You click this, it just allows you to select your sub job. Now your sub job basically gives you access to abilities and weapons that job would instead use. Your sub job is calculated as half of its max level. So for example, I have a level 24 warrior on this character. That means that when I equip warrior as a sub job, it will be level 12. Now, of course, the max level in the game is 50, so in order to have a 50 max job and a 25 sub job, you will effectively need 2 jobs at max level. It's a little bit more tedious than Final Fantasy XI. It does work differently, but I can understand why they did it. Also, as you can see, all 6 jobs, we have Warrior, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, Thief, and Knight, also known as Paladin, here in America. And again, we have the traits here at the bottom. Now, I don't know what all these traits do. Some of them give you double attack, for example, like this one. This one's very clearly double attack. But these 2 right here, I'm unaware of what they actually do. You have ones that increase your physical defense here by 5%, ones that increase your attack power by 100. And you have even more bonuses as you go down all the way to level 50. You'll unlock a trait every 5 levels. Now remember, when you have a sub job equipped, you do gain access to the traits that are applicable. So as a level 12 sub job, I do indeed have access to the level 10 traits right here, though I do not yet have access to the level 15 traits. Now again, if you just want to change the sub job, just click it and press the confirm button. I'm going to leave it on warrior though. The next one, you probably guessed, main job. This one allows you to select the current job that you'll be playing as and actually gaining experience on, and there's no sort of weird level implications like there were with the other one. Again, traits here, other than that, the menu is no different. It's just a common selection. One thing that's worth mentioning, you can have a main job and a sub job that are basically the exact same level. Your sub job will never restrict to half of your current main job's level. I have to say that specifically for Final Fantasy XI players. For example, again, my warrior, level 24, but has a sub job of level 21. So it can make power leveling second characters a lot easier if you have that first job at a pretty high level. On the third menu, we actually have our equipment screen. This allows you to change around your equipment. Now, on the left, you'll see weapons, and on the right, you'll see armor. The shield slot is closed because I'm on monk. Now, you're probably wondering why I have 5 weapons equipable. Well, the weapon right here is your main hand weapon, the very bottom weapon. That is the weapon that will do the majority of determining what your character is capable of. However, these ones on the left-hand side do increase your power rating, your defense, health, whatever stats they may have, but they also have abilities tied to them, as you can see here at the top. Now, that's basically how you decide what 5 abilities you'll use in combat. You equip weapons with abilities that you want. For example, if I were to use this, I would get this ability instead. Now, of course, again, I don't know the names of every abilities. I can't tell you what they are, but with some experimentation, you'll quickly figure out how each of these weapons operate, and you'll be able to come up with specs that work really well. If I can make a personal recommendation, warriors with berserk and some sort of single target or AoE are very, very effective since buffs do stack. Now moving back, again, same thing with equipment. If you click it, it does have its own set of bonuses here at the top, which can be tracked like that. Remember, check that character stat menu. You can usually figure out what these things do by going there. So we'll go back. Now we have these 2 options right here. Now these are basically a log of the things that you've recently done with your character. So it's like, oh, I just equipped this weapon last. You know, I unequipped a weapon right here. I unequipped a piece of armor or a shield. It's basically just a log of the last time that you selected items, or it's a log of your current equipment in a list, actually. That is what it is. It is a list of your current equipment in a list. This is my weapon. This is my offhand, which I don't have. Here are my other 4 weapons, and here's my armor from top to bottom. Sorry about that mistake that I made right there at the top. I actually don't know what that button does. Actually, what do you say we press it? Let's just press it. There we go. So that is optimize equipment. That is what that option is. The game will make a guesstimate as to what is actually best for your character, and it will equip them all. So even though I'm a monk, I've got this in my main hand. Let's see what they went with. Let's see what they thought was optimal real quick. So they thought having that weapon in my main hand was optimal. And you know what? This does actually result in the highest possible power rating for my character. The problem with optimal equipment is that you probably ended up with suboptimal off abilities. Now, one thing it did is it gave me 2 of the same ability, for example. So in other words, I am not going to be saving this gear set. Moving back to the character menu, I'm actually going to change out before I keep looking at my monk that for some reason... Oh, I almost overwrote my gear set right there. Imagine after explaining it, I then accidentally used the wrong menu. And then over here on the right-hand side, you have side equipment. That's what I call it. It does have an official name. Or inventory, whatever it is you want to call it. Basically, as you rank up, you'll be able to equip items here, which just give you flat stat increases. It doesn't increase your stats by a lot, but it is worth holding on to a lot of items that you can use and equip in the slot. The max rank, you can also see, or at least the max rank that affects this is 28. Now, in case you're wondering about the gear sets and if that affects, like if you can have items equipped on both characters and not have a problem, equip freely. As soon as you change jobs, as soon as you go to change equipment, everything will reset. You don't have to worry about it being a side item, it being a main item. Just equip whatever works best for you, and then when you switch jobs using the gear set list, it'll automatically just equip the right things. Don't worry about conflicts in that matter. Now we can get to the 4th option here at the bottom, which after it loads, this is where you'll usually do relic draws. So you have a list of bonuses right here that you can roll on. So basically, oh, do I only want to roll on a thief dagger? Do I only want to roll on a paladin sword? Do I only want to roll on a white mage staff or a black mage staff? You can choose how you want to go through this. Now it also lets you gives you a list of potential S and A rank items that you can achieve. And then it also gives you the stats of the item that it is currently showing off. So you can determine, hey, do I really need this item? For example, this one has a really, really good ability equipped to it. It is actually a level 5 ability that is unique to this piece of armor. If you look at it, these are, I believe, the maximum stats. I do not believe you get a fully rolled level 72 star item. That would be insane. That would be great also. It would make my character a lot stronger. But, you know what? Let's just do a relic draw just for the fun of it. So you actually can either do one relic draw for 500 crystals or 10 for 5,000. There's no sort of deal here. You know, it's just for convenience. It's unfortunate that 10 isn't only like 47.50 or something, but maybe sometime in the future. So we'll do a relic draw real quick. Takes you to this menu. You know, Moogle comes by, he takes you over to the chest. He bumps on it a few times, it opens, and boom, you get the item. I got a B rank item. So you're not guaranteed success every time. And currently during the launch, there are items that have a higher effect or a higher chance of being pulled. So keep that in mind. Now, you can also change the different deals I have going on. For example, I could pull between any of these items as well. As you can see, it's basically just full-on roulette. For this one, it's like I can draw an item and I can get whatever. So let's again spend another 500 right here. We can just skip that. We got an S rank axe, it seems. So nice. We got out with something good. Now I actually believe that the first draw was poverty on that one. I know that your first relic draw on the other one, on this one, is actually guaranteed. So make sure it's a job that you want, that you definitely want an S rank for. It's not guaranteed to be this S rank, but it can be. And then the final one is the Moogle draw, which is just, you know, you spend gil on it, and it usually gets you crappy items. Usually I just do this occasionally if I need items to upgrade. You know, see, C. Like, you're almost always going to get C ranks. Occasionally you'll get a B rank or something here. But it can at least help if you need to buy items to upgrade stuff for whatever reason you may have for it. So going back to the main menu, we also have the notifications here in the bottom. The very top will let you know of... your login. See, I haven't seen anything other than login bonuses listed here. For example, I've logged in 7 days now. So you look here at the bonus. On my 5th day, I got 500. On my 10th day, I'll get a bonus 500, 30, 50, 100, 150, until all the way up to a year, where I'm going to be getting basically a bonus 1,000 every 50, and then the year it'll be another bonus 1,000. So those are notifications, usually deals that you can have. Let me see if there's any sort of official translation that I have here. Again, on the right, just want to double check. I have a lot of the combat menus translated and whatnot on the side here. So I just want to double check. Actually, there were translations for the ones that I said I didn't have translations for. I just accidentally skipped over them. Oh, well, that's nothing big. I managed to figure it out on my own, right? All these menus, though, crazy stuff. Again, we have the forum selection here. We have... that is, I don't even know what that is. I don't actually know what this menu does right here, guys, but it takes you to someplace outside of the game, so I wouldn't worry about it because it's all going to be in Japanese anyway. So unless you can speak Japanese, it ain't so good. Line, that is something, again, you probably won't touch if you live outside of Japan. You have your friends list right here, though, so that's pretty important. Friends list, now your top list here is your friends list. The bottom one is your black list. So if you don't want to play with someone or you hate someone, you can put them on that list. For example, I got my buddy Marco right here on this list. He's, you know, one of our friends. He does the live translations, and damn, he's been powering up. He's rank 15, level 33, power level of 11,319. He's going pretty ham. He's making good use of his time. Then you have a list of people that you can add. I think these are recent people that you've played with. This next one, same deal. I don't know who these people are. But there's different lists of people in case you want to add them to your friends list. People who are, you know, a lot of these people are around my power level. Some of these other people are not. Just a bunch of people that you can pull from a list in case you ever want to add someone to your friends list. You also have your friend ID here. So if you see mine, 578-40047, all you would have to do is trade that code with somebody else, type it in here at the bottom, and you'll be good to go. You can be friends. Now, I'm actually going to pull up Marco's menu here on the left. Now, when you go to add somebody as a friends list, you're going to get these options, and they can be pretty confusing. Now, it took me a while to figure out what each one meant, but thankfully, we have Marco, who has given me all of that information after it took us about 30 minutes to add each other as friends. All right, so I made sure to actually pull up the conversation I had with Marco here, so I was completely aware of what I was actually talking about. So, here is, again, the friends list, and this is me selecting an individual friend. You can see he's got the S-rank body, S-rank weapon, A-rank head, hands, and boots. He's got way luckier than I have on those. I'm going to have to farm some of those. Regardless, on this menu, it can be very easy to add someone to your blacklist, delete them as a friend, or do the wrong thing. So, okay, top left is delete from friends list. Top right is add to friends list, which is a message you will get. I believe he said this also allows you to directly message the person, which I can also explain in a little bit. However, I don't see anything popping up to actually do that, so maybe it's an option that I'm missing. In fact, if I click that and I click this down here and then I click that menu, at the bottom, as you can see, yes. Okay, so basically it allows me to select him as my target to actually send him a message. So yeah, at the bottom here, you also see these things. This is a fully built-in social feature. As you can see, this conversation where he says I'm an addict to the game. It just allows you to interact with other people in the game itself. There is also a say and I believe a shout as well, which you can use out in the open world. This one right here, I have no idea what it does. I've never used it. But again, if you're English and you don't live in Japan and you don't know Japanese, unless you're communicating with friends, you probably won't use these other features all too much. So we'll hide that menu right there. Now the other two, the bottom left will add them to your blacklist, which means they can't communicate with you in any way. So unless you hate someone, don't do that. And the bottom right allows you to actually teleport to the quest that the player is currently on. So this allows you to basically group up with a friend without actually hitting a group up or a party up button. Just allows you to go along the same quest as them and potentially do it together. Obviously, you both have to have the quest available. If somebody's way ahead of you in the game and they want you to come do their quest, until you catch up, you can't do it. So moving back out of this, we have a few other functionalities here. Again, the bottom list was the blacklist. This one I believe is, yeah, like IDs, just, you know, some more account information. You also have settings right here, which you can play around with, background music, all this stuff, on and off, all those things, all those fancy things that I can't read. But I'm sure you can figure those out, and then the power button, which we're not going to press. We also have this right here. I think this is, yeah, this is like policies and rules and stuff like that. Okay, so that is all the basic menus that we have here on the main screen. How come I only have 3 now? Hey, where'd that go? I want that back. Give me that back. Anyway, now we can go to the ship, which will actually take us to the open world. In case you're wondering, this just allows you to switch between that menu and the actual talking menu. So this is your open world map. If you want to go someplace, all you have to do is click it, and it'll take you to 2 more sub-locations, which you can then click and select a quest. The quest is usually either talk to an NPC or kill a certain enemy. It gives you the rewards at the bottom. Now, if you click the quest itself, it does actually tell you, okay, you need to kill 8 of this enemy. You have 60 minutes to do so, and if you die 2 times, it will be a failure. Your rewards are then listed at the bottom, and some actual flavor text for what the point of the quest is also at the top. Now, moving back into this menu, we'll go all the way back to the full-on world map. You see the NM up. There are enemies in the game called Notorious Monsters, which have rare loot that you can obtain from them. This just lets you know that certain quests in that area have a higher chance of spawning Notorious Monsters while you are doing them. So that can be really useful later on, and that will be something we talk about in the more advanced guide, how to maximize time, what Notorious Monsters you may want to farm early on in the game to get benefits for multiple of your characters, or for multiple characters. Now, on the top, this button has never done anything for me, so I'm just not going to do anything with it. The second one is events. Now, the top one is usually a daily event where it's kill 15 elementals. For example, this one today was kill wind elementals. It has 3 difficulties that you can unlock one after the other. The only thing I've yet to find out is if you can repeat the same quests over the following week. In Record Keeper, you could not, so I'm not really keeping my hopes up, but I still have some hard modes that I didn't clear on my first few days, so I'm looking forward to get back into that. The other quests are basically Notorious Monster quests, where you can go in and try to fight bosses, not only for this randomly rolled loot or, you know, crystals here at the bottom, but for chances at S-rank items. So you can farm these over and over again to try and test your luck on these items. If you accept the quest, it'll actually throw you into the open battlefield. There was one more menu I want to touch on, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. Now, I believe there was a way to skip quests. I, however, seem to have lost it on my screen. So this is just an introduction to the quest itself and the enemy you're going to fight. I call these BCNMs because in Final Fantasy XI, that's what they were called. Upon landing in the zone, after you go through a quick loading screen, depending on how much time it's going to load, basically, you'll find a bunch of other people here in the open world, and you can decide to take on. Once you're here, you can see at the top, you have TP, which is the resource you use most of your abilities. Auto-attacking and waiting over time generates TP back. You have your current level and how much experience until you gain your next level, and you also have the ability to abandon the quest or run away from combat. Remember, this counts as one of your losses, so if I were to run away from a battle here, it would count as one of my 2 losses. Also at the bottom, again, you do have all the social features, and then when it comes to doing combat, all you have to do in order to fight an enemy is walk up to it. Now, when you do this, a little red circle will actually spawn around the enemy, and other people can join your battle as well. These are other real people doing this quest and doing this fight. Now, you have an ATB gauge at the bottom, you have your HP, and you have your buff bar. you can see everybody's health bar around the top. You can see everybody's buffs, everybody's debuffs, for example. And you can also see the enemies, current attack they are using, what their debuffs and buffs are, etc., etc. Now, we're all acting independently of another, but I am going to die here. So we're off to a great start, guys. I hope that... So, yeah, these bosses usually require either you completely overpower them or use a little bit of teamwork to help kill them faster. The guy on the left was using the Berserk strategy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mr. Happy, no! It's okay. We did it, guys. So see, on the white circle around that enemy in the top left, that means that there are currently 4 people already fighting and that there's no room for additional party members. Additionally, you can see the enemy's name and HP bar above the head. And I've just completed the quest, which you saw the quest clear screen on this pop up. I now have 60 seconds to kind of walk around, talk to anyone if I need to. But one thing you can't do after you've completed your quest, join other battles. So if you wanted to help somebody, generally you want to pick a quest that doesn't require you to have to kill the same enemies as them. People do that a lot for power leveling and notorious monster farming. So I complete the quest. Gives me 500 crystals, and I am on my way. It will then unlock the next difficulty, and bam, I can do that. So we're almost done with this basic tutorial. Hopefully it's been of help to you. Now, the last thing that we need to really cover is this menu right here. This menu are your job quest and your sub job and job unlocks. So the first 5 quests here are job quests. You click them, you do them, and it gives you a general overview of what you need. For example, the red means I'm not meeting a requirement. That requirement is I need to be on the warrior job in order to continue this quest. I also need a minimum power ranking or level of 3,000. I'll be killing 12 worms. I have 60 minutes, 2 deaths, and it rewards 1,000 gil. Now, job quests you definitely want to do as soon as possible when you have enough power, because completing them will give you job-specific items. For example, quest number 7 will guarantee you an S-rank body piece, and quest number 8 will guarantee you an S-rank weapon. They do require quite high power levels, though, so expect to have to already have a bunch of S-ranks or A-ranks before you'll usually get to this. Now, there's one for the basic 5 jobs in the game, and then you have these quests down here. Now, this final part right here is not available right at the start. This one right here is your sub-job unlock quest. This will be the accepting of the quest. These will be the 3 quests you have to do, and then the handing in of the quest, and this will allow you to unlock the sub-job feature. Below that is the Paladin Unlock quest, and expect that when future jobs are added to the game, they will also be unlocked in this menu. You click it, again, you do the quest to unlock Paladin, and then the job becomes available in the menu. It's locked before that. And then under that, because now you have the Paladin unlocked, Paladin has its own job quests now, similar to these top 5 that I just explained. And that's it. Those are the basics of Final Fantasy Grandmaster. So expect some more advanced tutorials. Also be sure to watch my playthrough of Final Fantasy Grandmasters so you can see what kind of notorious monsters to expect, what elements they are, the areas you'll have to explore, just to get your expectations up and kind of figure out, where am I going from this point on? So anyway, thank you for watching this beginner's guide to Final Fantasy Grandmasters. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and check out the rest of the videos on my channel, especially the other Grandmaster videos. But anyway, again, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next part, and until then, take care.